Alright, time to strip off the goods. Oh, I feel so dirty. I feel like a dirty person doing that. Alright. Hi, welcome everybody to Topless Topics, the channel that seeks to destigmatize female toplessness through repeat exposure, except that if you are watching this version, you aren't watching the super censored YouTube version. Unfortunately, the patriarchy being what it is, I am not allowed to post my non-sexual female nipples anywhere that doesn't allow full-blown porn. So I'm hesitant to even mention my own website because YouTube will give me a strike even for linking to a website that they have decided is porn. So let's just say this. If you search for the name of my channel, you'll probably find it. Okay, is that subtle enough? Okay, cool. If you're wondering, I am actually recording this during a live stream right now as of October 2023. I'm live streaming at joystick.tv/u/toplesstopics, which is a sex site, unfortunately. As I said, the only place that I can post my heinous female nipples are in places that allow full-on porn. If you are new here, you might be unaware of the fact that over the 10 years that I've been doing Topless Topics, I have been banned on every platform you've heard of and some you haven't. It doesn't matter how much I pre-censor my stuff. It doesn't matter what coded language I use in my descriptions. Because all these platforms are so easily weaponized by haters who just have to false flag content they don't like, I'm constantly at the mercy of the algorithm. So, where was I going with all that? But I am live streaming this right now on Joystick, so if you want to hang out with me while I record videos, edit videos, work on NSFW art, etc., you can go to toplesstopics.org/livestream. Hopefully that's not going to get me a strike for linking to porn again. Fuck YouTube. Anyway, keep it in, keep it in, keep it in, keep it in. The smoldering female rage. There's a reason that we're not allowed to be too outspoken about the many frustrations we have. It makes it harder to fact to us. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on too much more about that stuff that I've said in a lot of previous videos. You can go to toplesstopics.org/FAQ to see frequently asked questions, etc. Today, I wanted to do something a little different. I thought I would jump on the reaction bandwagon. Except one big difference, well, two big differences. One is I actually asked permission ahead of time from the creator of the video if I could react to that. That's, you know, kind of big. And two, I'm not going to show the whole video. I will have a link to the video, so I encourage you to go watch the whole thing yourself. But I just wanted to watch it and react to it and provide some thoughts on it as they occur to me. So let's get into it. I hate that phrase. I've never really done a video like this before. I tried before. I looked up viral TikToks and I was just like, these are boring. I don't get it. Why is this viral? Oh, I'm so old and crotchety. Gonna drink some buttermilk now. So I found this video randomly a couple of days ago when I was on a tear, raging about YouTube giving me this general warning that links, even in unclickable links in your video, can still get you banned. And I was looking up YouTube nudity censorship, YouTube nipple, which, surprise, surprise, if you do that, you'll find actual porn on YouTube that doesn't get banned, but I do. Mwah. But I actually did happen to find this video, and I was amazed at how well made it is. This guy, Hey A Nickel 456, only has 108 subscribers, and this has 456 views. It's only 6 months old, but it's really well made. I mean, as you'll see for yourself, and yeah, you should go check him out. And he has, most of his other videos are anime things, so it's kind of off-brand. But anyway, let's watch the video, and I will pause and react as stuff occurs to me. And yes, it is kind of funny for me to be reacting to a YouTube video about Free the Nipple's lack of success as I'm topless, but again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching the super censored version. It's very ironic. It's very meta. Alright.
Everyone remembers #FreeTheNipple, right? I don't have to explain it.
I don't know how ubiquitous Free the Nipple actually is. But, I don't know, that'd be an interesting poll. Anybody watching this right now, before you found out about Topless Topics, did you ever hear Free the Nipple, and what was your impression of it up to this moment?
Free the Nipple was a 2014 movie. Sometimes I think people forget.
I haven't seen the movie yet. I keep forgetting. I've been saving it up. That's the thing. I've been saving it up for a nice advertised live stream where we can all watch and react to it at the same time. I just haven't made it happen yet. It will someday. If you think that I should do that live stream where we can all watch it together, let me know. If this video gets to 10,000 likes, just kidding, I will never get that many likes, and if I did, it would just be from perverts. So anyway, going back to the video.
The movie got inspiration from a political and cultural movement, most commonly referred to as Top Freedom, which advocates equal treatment for all people to be shirtless in public. While Top Freedom could be compared to naturism, or nudism as it's more commonly referred to, it's quite different.
Thank you so much for pointing that out. People that have been watching my videos for a while know how I feel about this. I originally, early on into making Topless Topics content, because I've been doing it for 10 years, I wouldn't say aligned myself with nudists exactly. I was raised a nudist, but it was nice not having to constantly explain the difference between nudity and sex. But the last few years, I've really been pushing back on calling myself a nudist. I like to say I'm a normalizing non-sexual nudity supporter, giving you the choice to be naked or not naked or whatever you want in any public situation, because it's not the same thing as sex. And yet there are differences that I have with nudists as a lifestyle, as a community, that are really getting hard to ignore. I actually have a video I did that talks more in depth about why I stopped calling myself a nudist. You can go watch it if you want. But the biggest thing that really drives me nuts is that so often when I'm dealing with nudists, they immediately take my fight for topless equality and they jump into full body nudity. They literally, for some reason, just cannot understand the difference between female nipples are sexually explicit nudity, but male nipples aren't, and full-on genitals. I don't know why, but that is something I've run into all the time, and so, again, just mad kudos to the creator of this video for pointing out that there is a fucking difference between full-body nudity and female nipples. Thank you.
Top Freedom specifically refers to top nudity being legally and culturally permitted in public.
And it is a question of equal rights for women.
I want to know more. What is that clip from? I am so curious. And it's funny that it's a guy. I mean, I'm assuming that they're identify as male. I could be wrong. I hear a lot from people who are new to the whole topless equality idea. Like, how can I, as a cis man who already has the right to go topless, show my support for topless equality without being dismissed as like a pervert or whatever? And all I can say is people are going to think what they're going to think. You're going to get accusations of being, white knighting and she's not going to fuck you, bro, and everything like that. And you just have to realize that that kind of response is evidence of the failing on that person. That person who's saying that shit cannot conceive of supporting someone in something that they themselves are not benefiting from. So don't take it as an indictment on your support for topless equality just because other people can't take it out of their hands long enough to understand why we might all want the same rights to go topless online and in public that men get. Just like with most other forms of bigotry, although nowadays it seems like it's backsliding, the way that you cut down on comments like that is you make those people feel like they're in the minority. We need to have a lot more men using your privilege to point out the hypocrisy and the misogyny and the sexism and the transphobia, etc., of assigning different levels of censorship based on what gender you look like, so that those who do oppose it look like the odd ones out, so that they aren't considered the default mode and men who do support topless equality are treated as the weird ones. I can imagine the stress of having people in your life, especially in real life, just dismiss you as saying that you're just being a pervert. Hopefully you're in a position where you can explain the difference and maybe even find some support among those people. I don't blame a lot of people for not being more outspoken about it, because I do know that you're going to have to deal with a lot of repercussions, especially if you got a lot of puritanical misogynists in your life. But if you can, please speak up about it. Please use your privilege. At the very least, you can link people to content like mine and test out the waters, see how they respond to it. And then if they don't completely outright reject the idea of topless equality, maybe have an extended conversation with them. I'm not used to this reaction content, okay? I'm used to being the sole source of content on screen. Okay.
It's a sort of pop feminist elimination of sexist double standards, which is a decent first step towards the acceptance of women's sexual freedom, but not a viable end goal, which is fine. Now, obviously, this started a real trend of people using the phrase to protest laws against top freedom and to change societal norms to be more equal.
See, I wish that I had called it top freedom topics from the beginning instead of topless topics. When I made the channel name, I really wasn't anticipating the level of self-censorship I was going to have to engage in, and of course, it's only gotten worse over the years. Look at the ridiculous code words people use for, like, sexual assault and stuff like that. And so, in retrospect, I do wish that I could have changed it to top freedom topics or top off topics. But at this point, my website is Topless Topics, my logo is Topless Topics. I could try to rebrand, but I can tell you, similar to how I tried to rebrand my gaming content from Games Are for Fight to Sarah Got Game, it's really hard to do. I haven't really figured out how to do that. So, but until then, I guess my name is just going to be Super Censorship Algorithm Tripping, and I'm just going to have to eat crow, because I did not anticipate how bad for me that would become.
Cool. So, was the movement successful? According to GoTopless.org, a majority of the United States have full topless freedom. These 12 states and D.C. are states with ambiguous laws, whatever that means, and Indiana, Utah, and Tennessee are the only states where it's illegal to be a topless woman.
So, funny thing about GoTopless.org and this map and everything like that, years ago, I did a video in Venice Beach where I was wearing a bikini and, well, shorts and a bikini top, where I was asking random people there, have you ever thought about topless equality? What does it mean to you? Do you support it? Are you against it? Why or why not? And one of the facts I would say is that, you know, supposedly topless equality is legal in all these states. However, even here in Oregon, even in Portland, Antifa capital, everyone's queer and liberal according to right-wing media, there are no topless women. I have never seen a topless woman here. Topless men, everywhere, sure. Possibly topless non-binary, but anyone who presents as female, I've never seen them topless, except obviously at like sex clubs and stuff like that sometimes. Even then it's kind of rare. But it doesn't happen. One, because cops can still choose to harass you. They can just come up with whatever bullshit reason they want to arrest you, and then it's on you to get a lawyer and go to court and sue them, and you'll still have the stigma, you know, among people, like you end up on the news and you got people on there being like, oh my god, I can't believe, which is a lot of stress and expense, and you know, I don't blame people for not wanting to deal with all that. And the bigger part of it is, as I've said in TikToks and stuff I've done about this subject, people will have their photos taken, they will have videos taken of them just existing topless, and those photos and videos will end up on porn sites. And not everybody wants to end up on a porn site just for going outside without their shirt on. It really sucks. It really sucks. Everything is so messed up. The only way that we can normalize non-sexual female nipples is if they're allowed to exist, not in sexual situations, but right now, they're only allowed to exist in sexual situations or in places, very isolated places like nudist resorts where people can be fully naked. Yes, point being that even if they ostensibly have it on the books that it's legal, good luck practicing it without being harassed by cops, gawked and had weird-ass gross remarks made to you, having it go viral and get you in trouble with friends, family, coworkers, etc., and having your content show up on a porn site. Anyway, I'm going in circles again. I'm gonna shut up now.
Sounds promising, right? Well, there's a reason I haven't shown any footage of topless women in this video. Legally speaking, most of the country has freed the nipple. Culturally speaking...
And see, what's funny about this is it's sort of a chicken and egg situation where you would think it has to be legal for people, for all genders to be topless in public before it's going to reflect online, but our online discourse is what shapes people's opinions, and what controls legislation is the overriding opinions of people, or at least the opinions of the people who are buying the politicians who are creating those laws. And so I can't really agree necessarily that it is even legal, like applicably legal in these areas. I think it's incumbent on social media, like what you're watching this on right now, to stop assigning censorship based on what gender you look like, and then public opinion will follow. And then once public opinion follows, then we can actually get some legislation, some enforceable legislation on the books that does ensure equal treatment of all nipples, not just male nipples. If we can get social media to make this distinction that nudity isn't sex, and at very least female nipples aren't sexually explicit nudity if male nipples aren't, then we can change people's minds. Once we change people's minds, then we can affect the legislation. And the way that we get social media to stop banning female nipples is we have to convince them there is more commercial incentive, that there is a profit incentive to give everyone the same rights. Somehow, you know, white nationalists have been normalized, anti-vaxxers have been normalized. Why is that okay, but wanting the same topless equality for all genders is still considered commercially toxic? I don't know. We just got to tell these companies. Like, look at Nike. Was it Nike that came out with the sports bra ad where they very briefly had a photo on Twitter that was uncensored, and then they had it also on Instagram, but that one was censored, where they had a whole bunch of female nipple, you know, chest cutouts or whatever, and it was an advertisement for sports bras saying that we have bras that fit all different types of bodies, and they got a lot of buzz for it. They obviously got a lot of people that were like, oh my god, think of the children! People that take their kids to the pool and to the beach and everything and have all male nipples fucking everywhere and they don't care, think about it. But they also had a lot of support, and they got in the news. That's the big thing for corporations. And so we need more of that. When a company actually puts something out there that is pointing out the hypocrisy of topless inequality, or even just post female nipples in a non-sexual situation, we do have to express support of that. Yes, it sucks feeding into capitalism, so, you know, you don't have to be like, go buy this product now, but you can just be like, hey, I applaud Nike for putting female nipples in a non-sexual situation up on this, you know, account with millions of followers or whatever, because that's how you convince them that you will spend money on it, and that is how we will make changes, hand gestures, blah. Adidas, thank you, Adidas, not Nike. See, that shows you what a deep impression it made, that I couldn't even remember what company it was that did it. But if they hadn't taken the ad down because of the backlash, the minority backlash, I would have probably remembered that it was Adidas. Just saying. If they had put the ad out there and not been like, oh no, people are saying that we're exploiting women and we're ruining children's minds by having female nipples visible, then I would remember who they were.
While women going topless is legal, it is still scandalous.
They called 911. We are a threat.
What
Not
is
all
this,
cops
Portland?
And not all citizens know it's legal and will attempt arrests.
Exactly. I actually have a clip also up, or it might be up. I might have had to re-upload it. I keep having to re-upload all my videos because they keep getting taken down. Anyway, I have clips from one of the slut walks that I went to, which is a feminist protest that used to happen every year in Portland, but then COVID killed it and Proud Boys showing up and all that stuff. Anyway, I have a brief clip in it where I'm asking a cop if I was topless right now, because I think I was wearing pasties or something like that. And I said, if I was topless right now, would you arrest me? And the cop said, oh, it depends on what you were doing. Like, literally, I just said, you know, if I was topless. And then they were like, oh, you need to stop recording us. And I chickened out and I stopped recording. But yeah, like, as I was saying, doesn't matter if it's legal, the cops can still be fucking assholes and decide to arrest you or worse anyway. Yeah, just throwing that out there. Fuck cops.
Occasionally. The extent straight men will go to harass women with their clothes on hasn't made going topless a very appealing idea to some women who would otherwise try it. Many, regardless of gender, buy into the reactionary impulse hardwired into American brains to resist
Internal
any
misogyny
change
is
for
a
fear
hell of a
they-
drug.
Something bad happening, like nudity being normalized.
I love
mean,
his
if we're going
sarcasm.
this far, soon it's going to be no underwear for everyone.
And plenty of
Okay.
major sites on the
Why do so many people go from, if women get the same topless rights as men, that's going to jump to full body nudity? I mean, I don't oppose normalizing full body nudity also, but why is that the slippery slope that so many people go to? Really big question, why are there so many fucking dudes who reply to my desire for topless equality with, well then I should be allowed to stick my dick out? Like, do you literally think that your male genitalia is on the same level as female nipples? Really? That's really your thought process. Please explain to the class how did you arrive at that? How did you arrive at female nipples are your penis, but male nipples are an elbow?
The internet will ban you for posting topless women, regardless of the context of it being sexual or not. So in a sense, the cultural revolution sparked by the film hasn't succeeded. And that's ultimately not surprising, not only just because it's been 10 years.
Cultural changes need a lot of time unless forced upon by government, which would never happen for this.
The film, while advocating for total societal change, mostly engaged with the rough details of protesting and legal junk. Steam for the movement in real life died out once legal changes got good enough to be passable.
Again, on paper, but it's all dependent on how much a cop decides to harass you, and it also does nothing about the repercussions among your people in your life, your job, and your stuff ending up on porn sites. But I also agree, like, I joke that I'm the only topless equality activist on the entire internet. I'm sure there are some out there, but I literally have not found them. I have been directed to a couple of normalized full body nudity activists, like Victoria Bateman is one that comes up a lot, although her thing, from my understanding, isn't so much about the nudity itself as using the shock value of the nudity to talk about other stuff that needs to be fixed, you know, systemic problems and stuff like that. But as far as people who focus on topless equality specifically, I've never met one. There was one lady who used to have a blog, like a written blog with a couple of pictures, that did that for a few years, and then she just dropped off the face of the earth. I was also talking to someone the other day, and they told me that one of the actors in the show Heartstoppers is a trans woman and supposedly has been posting pictures, I think, to Instagram since they began their transition to show, like, when does it become sexual or not. I have to look that up. But again, that's an actress who has other stuff going on. They are not a be on the camera screaming at the patriarchy every day like I am. It's fine. I know that I'm in a very privileged position to be doing this. You know, I work from home. I have a husband that supports me trying to do this, although it would be nice to bring in a little bit of income because I feel bad that here I am playing around on the camera while he's working a real job. And there are things in my real life that could be a big problem for me if people that know me in real life found out that I do this, but I care enough about it that I am doing it anyway. And so, like I said, if you want to be supportive, but you aren't in a position, or, you know, you just don't want to have your face out there, your actual face out there as a supporter of topless equality, if nothing else, feel free to share links to my content. I'm not saying that in a like, oh, I just want to be famous way, but literally consider my content as like a coffee table book, you know, like, hey, what do you think about this? And then go from there. But yeah, I don't know, maybe me making this video right now will inspire somebody to also start making content that focuses on topless equality. The funny thing is, when I do talk to people, especially other creators, and I bring up the idea of how nonsensical it is to have censorship based on what gender you look like, a lot of people agree. But especially with the larger content creators, they hesitate to say anything about it publicly because they'll lose sponsors. They'll have fans accuse them of grooming and like all this other shit. So I understand that when you are in a position where your brand is based off being family friendly, why it would be difficult for you to speak on it. Where am I going with this? This is horrible. Would my support be worth anything considering I don't live in your country? Of course. It doesn't have to be just it's not just the US. It's about the perception of women in general. And I mean, like you're saying, in Canada, even where it is legal for women to be topless, you never see topless women. One, I'm sure because it's cold a lot of the time, but even still, because of the other stuff I said, because they don't want their stuff ending up on porn sites, because they don't want people in their personal life being like, oh, you're ruining the children with your heinous female nipples, because it's not like female nipples exist to feed children or anything. God, no. Can you imagine? We're almost done. We're at 258 out of 315. So,
just trying to find anything on Top Freedom or Free the Nipple related mostly just provides porn.
See what I was saying? Look up YouTube, Nipple. You'll get a whole bunch of actual porn, but my content, my already censored content, gets banned. Honestly, the only times I can even think of female nipples being mentioned in the news or whatever is when a female celebrity wears a semi-see-through shirt. And in those cases, they're basically dismissed as like being attention whore, harlots, etc. Because, you know, you can't possibly just wear an outfit as a form of fashion. No, of course it must be because you're trying to get attention. Because, you know, these fashion outfits where you're wearing like a trash can on your head are clearly not meant for attention. But anyway. But yeah, honestly, I cannot even remember anything with a woman just going topless, certainly not going topless to make a point about topless inequality. When you do have people show up in the news for having female nipples visible, it's usually full-on nudity. Again, I'm sure there must be some people out there who focus on exposing the hypocrisy of topless inequality, but I haven't found them.
There's a long way to go. So go out there and, I don't know, encourage top freedom. It's a pretty good idea, I think.
And there you go. That's the little video that I found, and honestly, I was very, very impressed. Not only is it well made, he seems like he has pretty much the same attitude I do. He didn't say anything gross about it. He gave a little bit of information. I loved his little thing at the end that was like, seems like a pretty good idea. Like, yeah, he didn't say anything about like, oh, I just want to see more female nipples, which is another thing I hear that's like fake support. I could do a whole video about that. But yeah, I just really liked this video and I wanted to get people thinking about it. Go to this guy's channel, Hey A Nickel 456, and, you know, leave a like and leave a comment and all that other stuff, because I want more of this. I need more of this. I dream of a day when we can go to YouTube or Instagram or whatever and first not have a search like top freedom or topless equality get shadow banned so that no results come up, and two, find results like this, not just actual porn. Alright, now let me catch up on your guys' comments. I prefer the term naturist to nudist to describe myself, but I appreciate what you're doing too, since you want equal rights for women, and that's a cause I fully support. Yeah, and I mean, since I've been pushing away from the nudist label, I have had some people who found my content through that, because I used to get retweeted a lot by nudists, stuff like that, before I quit Twitter, who get it and have stuck around, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, the whole like naturist to nudist debate is a whole thing. I've seen a lot of arguments on. The big thing that people seem to say is naturist is more like being out in nature as part of it. I was always raised with the calling it nudism. I don't really care either way. Like I said, I prefer to think of it as normalizing the choice to be nude, which is a mouthful and really sucks for SEO purposes, but giving people the choice to be as naked or not naked as they want, because nudism, naturism as a label tends to be pretty, what's the word? I see a lot of gatekeeping in nudism and naturism. I see a lot of like, well, anyone who would ever choose to wear clothes is a textile and is a sheeple. There's a surprising amount of right-wingers among nudists. And there's also a pervading attitude of anti-sex work or anti-sex. And I mean, I understand like trying to normalize non-sexual nudity, it's frustrating when people immediately see it and say that it's sexual, therefore it's bad. But sex is not bad. What's bad is telling someone because you're naked you can only be sexual, and because you're telling a woman your nipples are nudity, therefore that's explicitly sexual too. Yeah, again, if anyone watching this wants to know more of my feelings on why I stopped calling myself a nudist, you can go check out my video about that over here. I'm gonna put a link right here. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Over on Discord, on the cops and full body nudity, we do have copies of their own training materials to prove them wrong. Yes, and I mean, I'm a little hesitant even there because we keep having cases of cops that'll just fucking beat the shit out of someone for daring to say, you know, you don't have the right to do that. And, you know, obviously the chances of that happening are a lot higher. If you're a person of color, God forbid a male person of color, then you're pretty much guaranteed to get punched by a cop for no reason. And even then, like, it's very nerve-wracking. You know, I am a cis white woman as far as supposedly getting protection from being maligned by cops. I'm at the top of it, but it's still scary. Cops are scary. You never know. You know, there's no kind of psych exam. There's very little training, if at all, before some dude is just handed a gun and a license to decide the law. Like, they're not supposed to, but they still do. It's scary. And so, again, putting up with harassment from cops, even if you know you're in the right, is terrifying. And people ask me like, well, if you're an online topless equality supporter, why aren't you out there doing topless protests? One is time, because I also have kids and just, you know, everything else. And two is I've never found anything about a topless equality protest put on by somebody else. I would have to put it on myself. And I don't really know femme presenting people that would take part in it. I have some guy friends that would, but I think if we're sitting in a park and I'm the only femme-presenting person who's topless, it's not really going to have an impact. It's still going to be like, oh, let's go look at this attention whore, you know? A lot of that is just American things. I was recently on a group holiday with BN to Amsterdam, and one of our meeting points was in the red light district. Yeah, well, all the time I hear from people either who've traveled to Europe or who are from there or whatever, how much more relaxed they are there about topless equality, not even necessarily full body nudity, but just exactly the same as you see male nipples everywhere at the beach, at the pool, etc. Maybe, you know, outdoor exercise, jogging, everything. Like, literally, I invite you to, if you're in a place with like decent weather, you know, keep a catalog every time you go to a park or something, how many male nipples do you see and just not even notice or care? And think, if I saw a woman doing exactly what this topless guy is doing, would I still say, oh my god, it's sexual, oh my god, it's full body nudity? Like, anyway, I don't live in a top free province in Canada, but whenever I visit Ontario, which does allow top freedom, I too have never seen a topless woman. Yep, because they don't want to end up on a porn site. That being said, I have an online friend who lives in Toronto who I haven't met in person, who says she often in the warm months will relax on her balcony topless. She says that so far no one has had an issue with her that she knows of. So that's interesting. So our front window in the kitchen opens up on the street, and on our side of the street is the only sidewalk. There's no sidewalk on the other side of the street. So we have people walking their dogs by all the time. When we first moved here, I would never go in front of that window without a shirt, or at the very least, like if I was going really quickly to the garage, it'd be like, you know, like that. Now I really don't shy away that much. Like, I don't stand at the window like with my tits out just like, ah. But you know, if I'm going in the kitchen to get a drink, I just go in the kitchen and get a drink. Haven't had anyone that I've noticed stand there and stare. I haven't had cops call to me or anything. But if that ever happened, my husband is constantly fucking topless. Constantly. As soon as he gets home, he takes his work clothes off, he takes his shower, he puts on boxers and PJs and no shirt, and no one even thinks about it. That's all I want. I just want to be able to be non-sexually topless, just like my husband. It's not rocket science. Yeah. You mentioned earlier that some men felt they should have the right to show their penis if women won topless rights. Oddly enough, I once saw the opposite opinion. I got into an online argument with a woman once who complained that she liked Game of Thrones but didn't like the fact that male viewers could see so many female breasts, but she wasn't allowed to see a penis. I tried pointing out that it wasn't the same thing, but she couldn't see it that way. Was that on Twitter? Because there was one person that I remember would comment all the time on my Twitter posts, and their English was kind of, I don't know, it was a little hard to understand them sometimes, but their whole thing was like, we should be able to see more, well, actually all genitals. They were like, we should be able to see more penises and vaginas and stuff like that. I was just like, but that's not the same thing as topless equality. Also, seeing the vagina in a non-sexual way, unless it's like an exam video or maybe a childbirth video, like there's not really a non-male gazy way to like show someone's vagina and have it not be like, look at this, everybody. So I don't really understand that. Penises, yeah, you know, penises are just there. And again, like, you want to make something sexual or not, it's all about the camera angle, it's all about the motions that they're doing. You cannot convince me that a girl on Twitch's main screen wearing a skin-tight, skin-colored leotard with their butt cheeks fully out, twerking straight towards the camera, that's not sexual. But me sitting there without a shirt playing a video game exactly like I would with a shirt is sexually explicit nudity. Yeah, you guys know how I feel about that. Okay, so anyway, thanks for joining me. I am going to edit this video down now from the rambly mess that I did on my live stream. You can go to toplesstopics.org/livestream for my schedule. I also invite you to follow me on social media, and I encourage you to follow multiple accounts because I do get banned pretty often, and it's a lot of work to try to remake everything and just get banned again, etc. So follow me on all the socials. Try Mastodon, please. Try Mastodon, just so when I do get to that someday maybe where every mainstream platform just completely obliterates me, not just one post but the entire account, we can still stay in contact. We also have a Discord server you can join. There's a link at toplesstopics.org/chat. We're a pretty cool bunch. It's not a super busy server. It's like it's a good amount of busy. It's a good amount where I can actually catch up with the chat, you know, once a day. And we've got some pretty cool people. We have rooms split up by interest if you want. You know, we have like video games and sex ed and whatever. And yeah, it's a good place where you can find some other topless equality supporters and other leftist ideals. Yeah, I'm gonna shut up now. Thanks for watching. Like if you like, leave a comment, stand up and use your privilege to point out the hypocrisy of censorship based on what gender you look like. And don't forget to vote. Alright, that's good. Bye.